Cabbage. What's up, Mr. Poochie? How are you? Good, good, good. No complaints. Yeah, Matt. I'm up there with Mr. Christ. Yeah, Ryan, we hope. I don't know. I really don't know. We got a shot, we got a shot at it, but it's too much money on the sidelines. But I'm hoping. What time do we have here? All right, give it a couple minutes and we'll get rolling. Let me organize here. There were a couple things I wanted to show you guys at a Goldman today. How am I going to do this? Oh, I know what to do. I'll just post it all up private Twitter. Hopefully it shows. Let's see. Chewy, how'd they do, Chewy? Chewy! Down what it was up today? And what other earnings were you guys talking? Oh, GameStop, right? Oops. Chewy chewing up the premium. Chewy chewing up the premium. I mean, it did have a killer move, though, right? It's a nice move on Chewy. All right, where are my pictures now? Let's see. I have this, 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 this.
Chris, BCRX announcing expanded access program for patients with hereditary
BCRX. Some news.
Physicians may be able to request their treatment for HAE patients who do not have access to product through a clinical trial.
Hold on a second. Oh, I chopped it up. So that's why. All right. Let's see. All right. Yeah, Fold actually caught actually a couple of weeks ago at a better spot. You didn't have to chase any green. Oop. Hold on, guys. 1 second.
Chinese press reporting the China government telling banks there to reduce bad loan provisions.
Let me lower this. Okay. All right, welcome everybody. Oh, you know what? Let me do this to get it out of the way quick. For anybody who's new, first webinar, wallstreetjesus.com. If you go to the strategy section at wallstreetjesus.com, quick, easy to read, post, explaining the terminology, what it is we do on a day-to-day basis, why we do it. You could go to the market update section for some free info, a lot of pre and post market stuff. And if you're interested or curious and want to give it a closer look, we offer a free 3-day trial, no credit card required. And then there's some different packages, 50% off the first month. We also offer private Twitter as a separate entity. Private Twitter is included in the premium package. All right, but regardless, 3 days, no credit card required, and you get a quick look and see what we're all about. All right, so wallstreetjesus.com if you have any further questions. Now let's get to the good stuff. All right, so we didn't have one of these last week, right? On Tuesday, I think I had something to do. We had a webinar Sunday night, as we always do, for members of the Steam Room. But just to get everybody caught up here, and I'll try to break it down as quick as possible in simple English. We're kind of in a really interesting spot, the market as a whole, okay? And the reason being is, you know, the ideal situation, right? Ideal situation would be either you have a bullish, you're coming off a bullish extreme signal, right, with flow supporting, a bearish extreme signal with flow supporting or non-supportive, which would be the same thing, or you're in between and you understand that there's not much to do. All right, you're kind of caught in the middle. We are at a very interesting spot here, and an unusual spot, because even though we've had a powerful rally, I mean, an incredible rally, considering the circumstances and how bleak things were looking at the lows. Okay, but even considering the amount of upside that we've seen from the lows, okay, there is still a big chunk of money out there that doesn't or hasn't believed in this comeback, okay? And for those of you who may not be familiar with sentiment and positioning, okay, almost always when you go into a correction or a crash, whatever label you want to put on it, right? Eventually you hit a bottom when everybody who needed to sell, wanted to sell, was scared shitless and had to sell out, okay? And you go into a new bull trend or a rally, and it usually, and especially in these markets, because it's everything is extreme, everything is so quick, everything's so violent, and that's, you know, the addition of machines and everything else. But it most always ends with everybody getting back in the pool, okay? So everybody's selling out into the lows, right? Or throughout this whole process, but officially the majority of players' positions are out into the lows. And, you know, the market rallies, everyone talking about a double dip, a retest of the lows. It's a bear market rally, and you continue to hear it less and less as you climb higher, right? Then you get a little weakness like these little stutter steps here, reels in some more bears talking about a break of new lows, the whole same song and dance, right? And now you see how this market has kind of run away here. And it has a lot to do with, yeah, the fundamentals are turning, but the market was telling us that when this process got started, right? The price was telling us that something different than what we were looking at and what everybody was talking about was going on, all right? But the reason why the market's starting to get a little crazy here, right? You hear the word euphoria, crazy, spec money, all that sort of thing, is because people, the non-believer camp, has to become believers, okay? In the professional world, right? Forget about you and I who are managing our own account. When you're managing client money, okay, you cannot have a market go to new highs and you're still singing a tune to your clients that we're going to retest the lows and all doom and gloom. You can, but you're not going to have any clients left. Okay? You're almost better off with joining the crowd, right? Getting in the market and blaming the market and the economy for you losing client money than you trying to get cute and be on the total opposite side all by yourself when you've been wrong in a big way up to this point. All right? So what happens is you need to get exposure, and you need to get exposure fast. Okay? The way you get exposure is by buying calls. That's the quickest way to get exposure. Okay? But there's equity buying as well and everything else. Shorts, the shorts already have been run over. Okay? The shorts have been run over. That's why a lot of us want a little pull here to reel in some more bears. The shorts have been beat up in a big way. The only ones left short is the riffraff camp in S&P 500 futures, right? We saw the SPY shorts, individual name shorts. You see all these pig stocks, Hertz, you name it, heavily shorted, squeezing like they found Christ, right? Shorts are getting obliterated, all right? But that non-believer camp, little by little, is starting to capitulate. But what I'm going to show you on this webinar now, and again, if you guys are members, you already know this. We've been talking about it, but there's some new, new stuff comes out each and every week that you guys see me post, and some new stuff came out of Goldman showing exactly what we've been talking about. Okay, and the more proof of it, the more you have confidence in it. All right. So the reason why we're at a unusual point here in the market, okay, is because very easily after a rally like this, right, especially if you've been bullish throughout the most part of this rally, right, you can say, okay, this market's starting to extend here. It's come a long way. I'm going to take my chips, leave the table, relax nice and easy, okay? Sentiment's hot. That's usually what happens after a move like this, okay? And what makes this unusual is that you have some sentiment readings that are hot because of the chase, right? Because of the need to get exposure from that non-believer camp. But at the same time, that non-believer camp who went into a massive cash position into the lows are just starting to make a dent as far as getting long equities and getting in a risk on position. Okay. So that's what makes this difficult. Okay. For me, like it would be very easy for me to say, you know what? I'm just going to chill out here. I don't even, I'm going to scalp intraday. I don't even want to look at any swings. I'm going to sell everything I got. I'm going to sit in cash. And, I'm going to wait till this market gets knocked over the head. Okay. But what we're seeing out of the positioning side is we're seeing the spec money is getting hot. The chase money is getting hot. But the position players, the big money out there, that's the real money out there that moves markets. They still have a lot of buying left to do if they need to. Okay, so that's the pickle we're in. All right. So the way I have approached things, and again, if you're members, you know exactly because I've been talking about this every day now. Okay, but the way I'm approaching this is I've done a lot of selling. Unfortunately, everything I sold is higher, not even close. Okay, but I've done a lot of selling on the stuff I've been long throughout this rally. And names that see activity that get me excited with time, I'm not doing it, Tree. I'm not doing it. Names that get me excited with time, okay, that I'm willing to buy more of if I do get caught in a pull in the market that they run over spec money, right? If I'm willing to add, if it's something I like enough that I would add to it, then, that's the stuff I'm holding as far as swing positions are concerned. Okay. But as far as adding new risk, position risk, swing risk, I've come to the conclusion that unless it knocks me out of my chair, unless it's something I say, oh, I gotta own this thing. I don't care if I lose my money. I have to own this thing. Unless I have that impression off the action and the spot, I'm looking to pretty much this simple, day trade everything. And the reason why I've come to that conclusion just recently too, is that there is so much momentum and juice out there intraday. The moves, especially me, I'm playing the equity. So I'm not looking maybe as big as a move as maybe some of you option players are. Those of you who are playing equity know exactly what I'm talking about. There's some really nice moves that if you want to be quick with as little risk as possible, when they come in and sweepers attack, like they did AMD today, like they do the CLDR, which I sold before the halt in the news and blah, 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 blah. But you know what I'm saying? There's money to be made still. So there's no reason for me to run away, start my summer early, just because I want to be extremely selective as far as swing risk is concerned, because there's still a good amount of money to be made on an intraday basis off momentum. Okay. Even if you weren't day trading, I would recommend, if you're looking to take the same approach I am, of being more nimble. Okay. So if you do get caught in a quick pullback, you want to kind of pull the plug, right? If you're going to take that tactical approach, as opposed to what we would normally do, look to add to certain positions into weakness. All right. So anyway, that's my strategy here to combat this unusual setup that we have. Okay. I'm still going to participate if this rally just completely runs away. Okay. And if we get that max pain trade that we've been talking about, where you get, it would be nothing here. You get a 7 to 10% correction that knocks the riffraff heads off, right? In all these spec names, they have no idea what a down day is. Can you imagine the 7 to 10% correction and a quick one? They won't know what hit them. That's where I want to be more aggressive as far as swing positions are concerned. Like that's where I would be aggressive and add in my swing account. That's what I'm looking for. And that is the actual max pain trade out there. Doesn't mean it's going to pan out that way. but meaning max pain that they'll bury the spec money, they'll bury the sloppy chase money that's been coming in. Okay. They'll reel in bears thinking that a bubble burst, right, a la 99, 2000, and there's still a bucket of money on the sideline that needs to be put to work and will likely come in off that dip. Right? So that's the setup. That's what a lot of us are hoping for. Does it play out that way? Only the market gods know. All right. But for me, that's the only way I'm going to get aggressive as far as positions are concerned at this point. Okay. And why, you had a lot of people say, well, you got Sharpies still long and you still got this money on the sidelines. Why not? Why do I have to? You know what I mean? Not to sound arrogant, but maybe if I didn't participate in the rally, and this is for most of you on here, maybe if we didn't participate in this rally, we've been in cash, and you're trying to play catch up, you have the urge for FOMO. There is nobody who's been following the sentiment stuff we follow in flow that should have any FOMO right now. The only thing you would have is greed, right, in the picture, and that's something you gotta combat. All right, but I don't have the desire to get caught in a pull that I'd be salivating over normally to look to buy, to get caught in that and have it sting. There's no reason for it. There's no reason for it. So that's what I'm doing. That's my plan. And you guys plan accordingly, right? Each and every one of us are different. Some of you out there don't manage multiple positions, swing positions like I do. Maybe, you're position by position, different size accounts or whatever the case may be. Maybe some of you are just straight up tactical players. Then you guys should be loving what's going on right now. There's a lot of juice out there. All right. But if you're mostly just a swing player, you want to be a lot more selective here than you were down here until we get some sort of weakness. And the beauty about seeing weakness too, it's not just about levels, right? Because it really doesn't matter to me where we get the weakness, if we get it here or we get it from here. The beauty of the weakness is once you do get that yank and you flush out that spec money and reset, you get a clearer picture of what the sweepers, what the smart money is getting aggressive again and buying. Where are they buying it? What levels are they coming in at? You get a lot of information from when the spec money gets flushed out and new smart money starts to come in and buy that weakness. What we're seeing now is a lot of forced buying. They don't want to buy. You see today, like we're seeing $1 million sweeps. They don't want to buy Apple up here all of a sudden. They haven't owned Apple and they need to own more of it. You know what I mean? That's what we're seeing right now. So even though it's legitimate buying, it's not as clear. It doesn't paint a clear picture like it would if we did get a poll. And that's when the real buying's coming in. Those are the players, the funds, the syndicates out there that want to own that name, have been waiting for a yank, So there's a lot more to than just levels and why we want to pull that. All right. So this is a perfect segue into what I was going to show you guys today. All right. So this pretty much tells the whole picture of what we've been talking about the last couple of days. Okay. Let me move this over here. So this is out of Goldman. Okay. I have a Goldman note this morning. I think it was this morning. Anyway, you have some of their sentiment indicators on here. Let me get my fancy pen. Okay. And this is the current reading, the dark blue diamond. Okay. You can see they're all different types of sentiment indicators. Momentum indicator, put the call, investor intelligence, risky versus safe asset flows. These are the indicators they're following, right? CTFC, Sharpie data, all that stuff, okay? So the blue diamonds, risk off would mean bearish positioning, okay? That's what you would want to see if you're bullish. They're positioned bearishly, okay? And risk on would be they're getting too excited. Positioning is full, okay? So you could see right here, right off the bat, right? And this is an average of where everything is, okay? Momentum and options scorched, right? Exactly what we've been seeing, okay? But as you get down the list here into some of the larger assets that park money, they can't be as nimble as the momentum and the option players. You know, this is pretty decent looking, all considering the rally we just saw. No? Okay? And even better if we do get that 7 to 10% correction or whatever it may be, okay? Not only are you going to have these things cool off and cool off quick, because these things move quick, right? Spec money. They very easily with flip sides, couple down days in a row, all right? These things aren't going to start going this way into weakness. They're probably going to end up getting even flashing even stronger signals. Okay, so that's the beauty of that possible dip if we get it, the beauty of that setup. All right, but this tells the whole story here. Momentum and options are where all the heat is. Where all the heat is. Okay, and forget about the Robin Hood crowds and all these guys. Those guys are Pepsi Cola racketeers. They can wipe out that sentiment in one flush if they wanted to. They don't worry about that. They'll let them eat and make money, and then at the tail end of the trend, they can bury them all. They're not concerned about that. There's bigger forces, larger forces at play. Okay, so here's what I want to show you next. Okay, why is it blurry? Let me see, is the other one clearer? I think I posted both of them. Nope, that's not it. This is it. Yeah, but you're not going to be able to see it here. It's a little blurry, but you'll get an idea of it, okay? This is a measure of investors who have likely increased their equity exposure. What did we just talk about? Via calls, right? The quickest way, if you're a non-believer and you don't have much exposure, the quickest way, okay? And, that's where a lot of the heat, right? Shorts, they get run over. What's the first thing they do? They can't unravel a short position in a snap of a finger. They buy calls, right? So all those forces are at play. It's not because everyone is all bulled up. There's a lot of forced buying out there, all right? So this is just showing, players that are increasing their equity exposure via the option market, via calls. Okay, that's where a lot of the heat in the option market's coming from, not from Robinhood. This is asset managers' equity futures positions picked up here, still far away, right? So this is what we were talking about. Asset managers in the futures, right, market positions have picked up, but still, nowhere near any heat, right? So I don't know if you guys can make that out, but I'm hoping. So it's down here, right? Heat is up here, right? It measures the long positions. And this is what we're looking at on top of it, the Sharpie riffraff crowd, right? Sharp money, they're all in. Dealers, they're all in. And the spec money is still dealing with short positions. AAII, very simple survey indicator, has been around a while. A lot of people look at it. Every time you're cooked, this thing's usually close to cooked, if not cooked with it. It's a pretty bland survey of run-of-the-mill investors, and they're wrong a lot, okay? We just had a recent buy signal a couple of weeks ago. I think it was a week or two ago. So now we're here. Heat you're looking up here out of that heat. What else we got? Some of these I don't even know. Oh, money market, right? You're talking about whatever, so many trillions in money market funds from the wash, the crash. Unbelievable numbers, unbelievable numbers. Okay. So money market inflows have been large is an understatement, while equity fund flows have only just starting to turn positive last week. Okay. Just starting to turn positive. Again, just driving the point home that there's still a ton of big money, real money that can move the market uninvested on the sidelines. Equity markets initially rallied with house cyclicals outperforming defensives, but not during the last month. That's not the deal. Just a lot of people are, and a lot of funds have been positioned defensively, not risk on, you know? I'm trying to see if there's anything primarily on short dated calls. Oh, so this is another read on options, okay? Showing all the heat. They're all playing weeklies and stuff. You know what I mean? It's straight up spec chase gambling activity. It's almost like everyone is playing musical chairs out there. All right. Yeah, I posted these on private Twitter. I'll post them on my regular Twitter too when we get done, if you guys want to take a closer look. All right, but I just wanted to give you guys, you know, a little closer look. Again, if you're not interested in all that stuff, this tells the whole story right there. All right, the unusual situation we're in, this tells the exact story. Okay, here is which would be equivalent to our Sharpie riffraff indicator right here. Okay, and you know, not to say there can't be. We want that dip. We want that weakness. That's the whole point of this, you know. But usually when the music stops, this is over in this neck of the woods. It was before we rolled over. You know what I mean? And there's logic to it. There's logic to it, right? When you have positioning all buried in risk on, okay? When the market gets hit with some news, right? Like the virus or anything for that matter, and it's worthy enough to start doing some selling, there's a ton of supply, a ton of selling that's got to come to market, right? Then what happens? It snowballs into trends reversing. Now the CTA, the trend crowd's got to reverse their all-in long strategies, right? The systematic crowd and all that stuff. Then, because of all the supply, then you get margin calls. That adds to the selling, okay? When you're over here, you're not getting that stuff, right? You'll get some selling from this crowd here. These two guys, right? The quick riffraff specs. You'll get some selling pressure there, but they get wiped out in a week. They won't know what hit them. In a week. You know, I mean, I see a couple of questions, which are obviously good questions. Why is everybody so risk off as far as positioning? Think about, like right now, it's a lot easier to get long, okay? And even now, it's difficult because of how far we've come and all that stuff. But think about, go back in time and remember when we were looking at these exact sentiment signals, okay? Into the lows, when they were all over here, okay? Think about how difficult it was to lean bullish then. You know, how negative everything was. We were just getting locked up in our houses. New York was going to experience their Pearl Harbor, they were telling us. Armageddon was about to take place. You know, the Fed fired an absolute bazooka like we never could imagined or saw in our lives before, and nobody gave two shits. That's how scary it was. No toilet paper, for crying out loud. There's no toilet paper. You can't buy toilet paper. You couldn't buy toilet paper. You know what I mean? So CNBC, okay, is a perfect example. If you watched and pay attention, like if you just had CNBC on that whole time, subliminally, without even you acknowledging it, realizing it, entering your brain would have been, markets in turmoil, America in crisis, Tepper coming on, scaring the shit out of you. What's his face coming on? The Drunken Miller coming on, scaring the shit out of you. The other guy, Warren Buffett, selling airlines like they're going to zero any day. Ackman coming on, everybody had diarrhea, and then he slipped in at the end. He's getting long, you know? I mean, Gunlack, the other guy who we love, Paul Tudor Jones, everybody, even the guys who are the best in the game, were all in this boat. Everybody. You know, it goes to show you, Peter Schiff. That guy's bearish. He was born bearish, Peter Schiff. You know what I mean? It was really difficult. And, you know, it's always that. Like 2008 was a scary time. You know, we never seen anything like it. And like it never repeats itself. It's not going to be what happened in 2008. It's not going to show up again. You know, you're prepared for it. That's the first thing you do when you come out of a crisis like that. So now you have this health thing, right? The virus. Nobody knows what the hell's going on. Locking people in their houses. You know, 2008, businesses, you know, their business was off what? 20, 30%. Here you had a complete shutdown of no revenue coming in these businesses. You know? I mean, the uncertainty was incredible. Nobody had an idea. But it's incredible. It's a perfect example for you guys, Joe. And this is what like would blow me away early on when I started to pay attention to this stuff. And why I don't even waste my time trying to figure it out on my own. You know, this is a perfect example, okay? They said you need a vaccine. They said the numbers would get worse. They said all this. Now, all of a sudden, you have a job number that comes out of left field that was a positive blowout number, right? Nobody saw any of these things into the lows. And this market was rallying from that point of darkness through climbing the wall of worry, through all that negative news, through the New York numbers skyrocketing each and every day, all of us posting COVID death numbers, and everyone became a coronavirus expert. You know, and all that mattered was where was everybody's money? That simple. Where was everybody's money? And then, you know, whatever, maybe it's the market gods, wherever that sharp money comes from, there's some money that buys at that point, right? The Sharpies have been long from that point. Maybe they just go against the crowd. Maybe that's all there is to it. But it's a pretty incredible thing. It's fascinating. All right. So like I said, when the music stops, I'm not saying everything has to be on this side here, but most of them are going to be close at the least. At the least. That's usually how it ends. Okay. What we're hoping for now, again, that Max Payne trade, is a freaking dip, which will feel worse than what it actually means. Okay. Because look at the run we've had here. If you have a pull back to like, 300 here, people would act like the sky's falling, right? And think about what it would look like. It's nothing. It's nothing. But what worries me about that is that I showed you all that money on the sidelines. I don't know if they can allow it to happen. You understand what I mean by that? In other words, all that money on the sidelines, they come in and buy every dip. We see it every day, right? So it would have to be something where it forces them to pull in the reins for the short term as well. You know, where the risk of not having long exposure is outweighed by some negative risk out there over the short term. But, you know, it's asking a lot. It's asking a lot. Usually they run away. This market these days, they usually run away. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping not. I think, and, you know, Sharpies are still all in long. Like, they haven't even started to hedge yet. Isn't that remarkable? They haven't even started to hedge yet. You know, normally they start, let's say right here, right? This is where they were, not only were they all in, riffraff was all in short, right? It was this Friday, okay? You see this rally? They start hedging off that usually. They start to put hedges back on little by little. And they haven't slapped on a hedge throughout this whole process yet. And yeah, and I see a couple of you talking about the Fed. It could be that simple, guys. It could be that simple that everybody who needed to sell sold. Everybody got out. Everybody who needed to get out got out. You had the Fed rig the game, and eventually people would need to get back in. That's all you got here. You know? That's what you got here. By the way, we got the Fed tomorrow, which should be interesting. You know, we're going to get some. This is not it's not a non-event, tomorrow's Fed, by the way. There's, from what I'm hearing, you know, I'm not no expert on the matter, but from what I'm hearing, there are a few things people are really paying close attention to, that they want to hear, that could be, you know, extremely bullish in a sense. You know, because they've been tapering a bit. You know, they've been taking off some of that bazooka. And, you know, you're going to get a clearer picture of what the future may look like. In other words, you know, as far as asset purchases and all that stuff. So we'll see. We'll see. But, you know, anybody have any questions on, yeah, and the thing is, Jimmy, like, you know, that's why, like, I do what I do, and I've been doing it for a lot of my career. Like, I don't need to figure it out myself. You know what I mean? It doesn't bother me that it's not me making these decisions based on a thesis that I have to come up with. You know, from experience, I know how this market functions. I know how it works. It's not a coincidence. You know, it's always the crowds. Like, you see, like, a good example of that is like Tepper, right? These guys are the best in the business. It's not about them being wrong. Everybody's wrong. But when everybody is in agreement, that's when they're wrong. You know what I mean? That's the whole trick. That's the whole trick to it. Like, there's nothing wrong with Tepper or any of those guys. It's that they all happened. They were so unnerved about the situation without realizing they were in the camp with all the riffraff and everybody else. So everybody sold, right? If everybody's in the same camp, pooping their pants and want nothing to do with being long anything, the likelihood is they already sold. They all sold. And that was the opportunity. But anyway, so you guys know the gist of it. Fire away. Any questions? Doesn't even have to be on this matter. But is it clear, kind of, especially those of you who are members, we've gone over this now. a couple times, but is it clear what we're kind of hoping for and looking for? But at the same time, we want to be smart about things here, even if we do get that runaway rally. Anybody have any questions regarding the setup? What indicators do I watch intraday on TradingView? Basically Niners, you know, that's it. Niners and sentiment for the most part. Well, the overall view, how does it affect my intraday trading? It does affect it, okay? Like, for example, like now, you know, until we get this pull that I'm hoping for, I'm strictly playing off momentum, okay? So simply put, sweepers are just an indication of momentum for me now. That's it. As strange as it sounds, that's it, okay? So when I see a Cloudera get annihilated with sweeper activity, right? You know, a couple of weeks ago, a month ago, 2 months ago, I'm probably swinging the name. Okay. Now it's not even, you know, and if I'm swinging the name, I'm making a bet on the sweeper being right. I'm making a bet on his bet. Okay. Now I'm not making a bet on the sweeper activity. I'm just betting that there's going to be momentum off that activity, and I'm looking to take advantage of it. Okay, so that's solely my strategy right now. I don't care what Cloudera does next week. I have no interest in what Cloudera does next week. You know what I mean? If I can buy the equity and I can squeeze out 50, 60 cents, sometimes I get lucky, more, you know, and they get hot, especially these days, you get more. That's all I'm looking for. Now, I know I could be leaving money on the table, of course, but I'm also acknowledging the risk that may come with looking for more. You understand? Down here, when I had all of sentiment behind me, even this short-term spec stuff was extremely bearish. I was quite confident that any weakness would find buyers because there'll be a lack of sellers. Everyone's out, right? That's the benefit, the edge of having sentiment behind you. Okay? So I want to hold stuff. I want to buy stuff with time. Okay? The more I can buy, the better. The more, you know, the more time I have to buy, the better, because eventually that whole crowd would need to flip from extremely bearish to neutral to bullish. Okay? Now it's a little different where there's a risk that wasn't there. And that risk is that wash of that short-term spec money. That's the risk. That's the risk. For anything you look at right now, no matter what type of sweeper activity, like people ask me, oh, what'd you think of that sweep? What'd you think of that name? I have the same answer for everything. If the market continues to melt up, you're going to make money with it. If you get caught in that spec wash, you know, you're in short dated stuff, you're probably not going to survive it. You know what I mean? So everything to combat that, you take the greed out of the equation and you play off the momentum, right? When there's momentum out there, you're looking to get in the middle of the momentum, take what the market gives you with as little risk as possible and run. You know, if you're capable of playing that way. You know, if you're capable of playing that way. And then, you know, if everything pans out the way we want it, okay, you've been taking advantage of this little melt up. Okay, even a day like today, I had a solid day today. The market was down. I love these days better than up days, to tell you the truth, because I hate chasing. I feel horrible chasing. You know, I'm so uncomfortable chasing green. So a day like today, you know, Caldera, I wasn't chasing up a stick. Stock was flat. You know, Roku was red when it caught action. There were names that were down catching action. You know, so I love days like today. So days like today, you can, you know, you can still grind it out, make some money, right? And then if that pull does show up, you got some ammo ready to hammer it whenever sweepers are ready. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the beauty of the positioning crowd needing to get in. Booger. That's the beauty of it. That the dips are so shallow, because anytime there's a dip, they're looking to buy it. You know what I mean? They need to get their hands on so much exposure and they need to buy it. So, you know, another thing we didn't talk about because of the Goldman Sachs, it's not on there, our hedge fund indicator. Okay. It's not updated to the last couple of days. We're all dying to see it. But as of the last update, which was June 3rd, 4th, whatever it was, they're net short. They're still net short. You know, now I'm hearing chatter that they've been boogieing and they've been covering shorts and getting long. Could be. We're seeing it in the flow. But I'll see it when I'll believe it when I see it. But, you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, trust me, I will be cautious when hedge funds are all in. Trust me. I'd be a lot more cautious. Like, when hedge funds are fully positioned and all of that stuff we look at, right? Positioning is full. The way I want it, I don't want to have not one swing in my swing account. Not one. I don't care. Let the market continue higher and I'll continue to day trade. I don't mind. But if I could have my way, I don't want one swing in my account when those positioning readings get to where they need to get to. No, I have VHC and plan, and I still got a little trip left. As far as full positions, BHC and plan. You know, both with time. You know, both with time. But, you know, there are a lot of names out there I like and I would swing under different circumstances. But again, maybe I get my cake and eat. This rally's been nice to me. You know, this rally's been nice to me. So maybe this time they'll hook me up. They'll give me the dip and I can add. That's a great question, Daniel. It seems faster and faster each and every year as time goes on. You know, just everything seems so much freaking quicker. You know, we talk about the speed constantly, but it depends. If you get this little runaway melt up, it can happen pretty quick. But if you get moves like this, Dan, if you get this stuff, see these like consolidations with little dips like this in them? These trends can last forever and you can make a killing on the long side. You can make your career if they prolong it by these little consolidations. You know what I mean? Like a good example of one recently, like you see this here, you guys remember the VIX panic attack? Okay, so here, everything was beautiful. This whole entire rally, right from this low down here, right? Bazooka Joe, I think that was Bazooka Joe, You see these? You see all this? And you see how long it lasts because of them? Every time the market did something like this, you had bears reeled in, longs puke because they're worried about rollover to new lows, and boom, then another one, then boom, then another one, then boom, and finally the chase, right? Then the chase. That's when everybody right here gives up on their new low thesis. They have no choice now. They're not buying because they want to buy. They have to buy. They haven't participated this whole rally. And then what happens, everybody piles in, right? You get this runaway move, which is huge. And then, boop. You know, they catch them all. So that's kind of like, if you look at like the indicators where you're asking, Dan, like where we are now is kind of, I would say, probably around here-ish. Ah, you like that? See, I keep practicing with my marker here. You know, not to say like this much is left if we do melt up, but I'm giving you an idea. Like you can see, right? This is where things started to really extend. You know, you ran through, you can see some of the yellow here. You know, you're just running right through it like it doesn't exist. You know, nobody, you see now people talking about sentiment, being hot, spec money, all that stuff. You know, people were ignoring it up here. They were finding excuses why it wouldn't work this time. And then it finally bit them in the ass. You know, quick, violent, knocked them out of the box. So my point, Dan, that I'm trying to show you is that if you get dips and breathers along the way, it could last. It could last. And it's a beautiful thing because you get those dips and that's where you can reload. You know, that's where you can reload. John, who knows? You know what I mean? Who knows? With the Fed doing what it's done so far, it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me if it was bigger than 99. You know what I mean? And people forget, like 99 was nuts coming out in 98. It was nuts because you had like a runaway rally, okay? Then, like we're talking about, you had 10% corrections. It felt like every week and a half. But then it go right back to new highs. Bing! Then another shakeout. Then right back to new highs. You know, but being a part of it, you know, those pullbacks felt like death. I remember you had stocks like CMGI, be a $400 stock, down 100 points, and then boom, right back to new highs again. You know? So it was, yeah, but that's the thing. See, it was buy anything on those pulls, but you couldn't just be long anything because those pulls felt like the end of the world. So if this ends up becoming a 1999, that's what you're going to have. You're going to have these big violent pulls and then back to new highs, you know, then big violent pull and back to new highs. And they get larger and larger and larger until everybody catches on, everyone gets long, and the music stops. The music's going to stop. It's inevitable. But the music usually stops when everyone's playing, looking for a chair. You know? Now you have 2 people playing in 6 chairs. By the time the music stops, you're going to have 50 people playing with 6 chairs. So We'll see what happens. But those are the scenarios there. You guys want to talk some names before we run here? Oh, I didn't send. I had the top bet list that I was going to send out. I'll send it on private Twitter when I get done here. But I have it in front of me here. Hold on. Oh, you know what? Hold on. 1 second. I'll show you guys some of the top bets today. There was some interesting action out there today. Definitely decent action for day trading. By the way, you guys catch CLDR? Did you catch the big move? Or you guys got out like me before? Hold on 1 second. Let me get this here. All right. Found an easier way to just take a screenshot now. That's good. All right, so these are today's top bets. And what I try to do, as you guys know, I really don't like to put weekly activity on here. And the reason being, especially now with the moves, you don't know if these guys are still in it. You know, so I don't want people chasing the weekly action, and these guys already are selling, because that happens a lot in this type of market. So I try to stay away from putting the top bets, a weekly activity on the top bet list. But here's some of the action today. All right. So start off, Avgo caught a nice sweep. The semis, they look dangerous. Look at them in a good way. You know, they've had nice runs. They just look angry, like they could bust out here. But like I said, maybe there's a little pull in the market. So this is Avgo. And here's the bet today on the top of the screen. September 360s. Nothing extravagant for Avgo. Avgo could catch some big orders, but about 200 grand. Clean sweep. Nice looking sweep. September 360s. AMD, a lot of you were watching it. A lot of us have been watching it. This thing's been quiet, consolidating, really good looking, you know, really good looking breather. Hasn't really caught any big bets or steam to really get us excited even for a day trade. And today, right off the open, there was some pace behind the buying, which really helped out with the momentum. Look at that, right from the open. Ping, 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 ping. And there was a little breather, and they were still sweeping all day long. And you can see here, I put some of the bets on here. Some of the bets that weren't in weeklies, so you guys could see. July 55s, July 2nd 55s, June 12th 55s. These were early in the morning. They were weeklies right off the open, and then there was action throughout the course of the day, a ton of action. So a lot more than just 3 sweeps. Here's some of the Cloudera action. Again, early morning. The June 10s were hot and heavy. And this one was nice too. This one was nice too. You know, you had, it was almost too nice because I forgot about the potential of a Nigerian pump, and I sold it before that. I sold it before it because I was looking to be quick. But, you know, you had a nice move, then sideways breather, you know, and then here's where she really got hot. And then this was the halt that they're putting the company up for sale. And like I said, those of you who are members know exactly what I'm talking about. These June calls were flying off the shelf. Flying off the shelf. Now, this is some of the early action there. Peloton, this thing catches nice action, this Peloton. You know, catches nice action. It's also been hot. You can see has had a nice move off the lows, ran into a 9er high here, and been a wide range breather here, right? So you had a little dip, and then today, here's what happened. Yesterday into the bell, you guys know, it was aggressive buying with 5 minutes left in the day, right into the closing bell. And then carried into today. It also had decent momentum off the sweeps. But you had to chase a little green there because it was already up right off the open. But yeah, Peloton has seen some real nice action. CNK, this one was into heavy weakness. This just caught one sweep, an unusual sweep for this name. So you can see what that looks like. Off a down day, was into weakness, like I said. Had a decent bounce. A grind, more of a grind. You know, spot's okay. If I had everything with me, maybe I would swing it, you know, but I probably wouldn't. I didn't, but I probably wouldn't with concern about a short-term pull. What do they do? This is movies, right? Oh, movie theaters? Probably a heavily shorted name, too, with everything that happened. Look at this debacle. Oh, my God. My God. AMC, that's right. How's that been doing? Oh, look at that. Interesting. What else we got here? CNK. Oh, and then this J&J bet. Again, nothing big. J&J doesn't catch a lot of action, but not a bad sweep. October's, 160s. If you do get some sort of pull, this may be a group that holds up better, and you may be even to be able to find some alpha in it, because they've been just sideways dead off a real nice run off the lows. But now we've been in all-out risk on. You know, this thing's been just dead as a doornail. And a lot of these names, healthcare names, look exactly like this. CNC, you know, ABT. They look exactly alike. So I would keep an eye on the action in these names. I would feel better about owning these names, even if we do get a little hit over the head. You know, the problem is when you have this chase, nobody really wants to own these things yet. You know, they want all the high beta names. They're tripping over themselves for Apple and NVIDIA, which caught $1 million sweeps again today. You know, so yeah, I would definitely, they're all on my screen. Abbott, I've been watching for a while, you know, hoping they hit it hard with something to force me to consider buying it. You know, I love CNC. I like that stock. I've done well with it. I'm just waiting on action worthy enough. What's this? Hold on a second. All right, that was the last. Any members see? Yeah, Amazon, I mean, it catches flow. It's been catching mostly what I call spec flow. So trading, no bet on the name, you know. Every once in a while, I would catch a big, sharp-looking bet with some time. But it's been mostly spec flow. But yeah, nice move today. Big move today. Plug is an interesting spec name. You know, there's somebody buying this thing, and there's somebody been buying this thing for a while now. It's not new. You know, there's definitely an interest in this name. It's just, oh, hold on. There's been accumulation. You know, the problem is the timing of it. You know, are you looking to just trade it, or are you looking to tuck it away? I think it's more of a tuck away name on dips. You know, my personal opinion. My personal opinion. But there's a lot of these little, you know, here's another one, right? We were talking about this how many times on these webinars? This Neo was catching some serious action, you know, serious action, this Neo. And then it caught fire. It's always the timing of these things. You know, you don't really want, if you try to get involved in monthlies or weeklies in these things, you know, you need a lot of luck. If they catch action like this, you buy them on weakness, you tuck them away. You know, so that's what I would do with a plug if you're interested in it. But it has been catching flow. What other names you got? Yeah, Neo got tattooed. And it's not like it was spec action either. It's real buying. There's been some real buyers in this Neo, you know, with time. Yeah, that's definitely a squeeze name. Definitely a squeeze name. I day traded it yesterday. You know, just it was $1 stock. I said, what the hell? Where's it gonna go? But could definitely squeeze. Heavily shorted, and a lot of these things have been squeezing all over the yard. AAXN, that's the old taser, right? Jeez. Caught a couple of bets. That other one caught flow again today. What is it? SWBI, the old AOBC? Look at that. New highs again. New highs. You know, some of the software names still look good. Like, remember this AYX? Look how good that looks. Look how good that looks. Yeah, Boeing, I'm done with it. Yeah, you could probably still day trade it if it's red and it catches some action, but I wouldn't look to swing trade it up here at all. You know, it's done. That's the way I play them anyway, you know. I look to buy them when they're dead, and then once I'm out of them, I'm out of them. I'm looking for new setups. Plan looks good. Plan looks good. Plan, I bought the Jans on this day into red, had a nice reversal. And then I bought the Novembers, that was yesterday, I think, right? Yesterday? Or the day before? Anyway. So somebody over here, Drunken Miller, is scooping up this plan. Again, it's the overall market is the risk, right? If they take everything down, short term, in a wash, unless the software names outperform because they stay at home or something like that, you know, the likelihood is it goes down with the market. But if this market holds up, I think this thing can, I don't even want to say it, because the sentiment, if this was a month ago, I would be labeling this the next SE. How do you like them apples? But I don't want to get over my skis here. You know, there's obviously a big guy buying this thing. Obviously a big guy. Crowd. That's been a hot one, right? That caught some nice action too. I owned it. Sold it really early, the usual. All these things, they look like they could have more upside too. Well, I mean, listen, they can't dip too, right? I mean, they can't come back down here, fill some gaps, and then go back higher. That's the problem. Could go either way here. Square, that's been a monster. But see, I'm different. I play different than you guys. Like I can't buy square here with time. I can't do it. I can trade it. You know what I mean? But like for me, this is the likely the extent of it. I'm looking from here to here. You know, I want to buy here, and then I would like to sell up there. D dog. Yeah, it's a little breather. That caught a big bet the other day again. But you know, like D dog. Where'd we buy this thing? I bought this thing in the 30s. Like I can't even get myself to pull the trigger at 75 bucks. I can't do it. I can't do it. I don't care, what kind of bet it catches. I can't do it. I sold the thing at 40 bucks or whatever it was. A month later, I'm going to buy it at 80. I can't do it. You can't, you know what I mean? You can't play the game like that. Yeah, I didn't play it, but Wynn's been seeing action, definitely. All the casinos, well, not all of them, but Wynn's had its share of action. If you're looking for like underbelly type plays, RRR has had some action. ERI had a nice move, had some action. Again, I think just over the short term, that washout of spec money is the risk in all these things. I just the things that I'm not interested in are the things like this. You know what I mean? Hertz and shit like that. I'm not interested in that. Yeah, like that too. NKLA, you know. Come on. What do you want me to do with this? Jesus Christ. SPG had a big move. All these REITs too. Crazy moves. A lot of big moves out there. A lot of big moves. A lot of big moves. SGMS caught that big leap sweep, but it's the spot I'm not crazy about. You got a little breather. You know, could do something like that and still look okay. That's the risk there. That's the risk there. Trying to think. This, to be honest, that's the only thing recent that, like, this is the only thing. And you see, like, why not only was it the best looking flow that's come in, but like here's where SGMS is and a couple of the other names you guys mentioned. So Plan had that dip and they hit it right into down 3. It caught that drunken Miller sweep, right? So I was like, okay, this guy's legit. All right. You could have traded it. I actually day traded equity too on it. But I bought the Jan calls, rallied, sat around, do nothing. This hasn't done anything yet. This thing moves $3 in a sneeze. But then it came right back down to that initial spot and boom, November's, Somebody likes it. But he is paying for time, or she. So you have to acknowledge that. You know what I mean? They are paying for time, which is good because that's how you know the action's real and they're making a bet on the name, but it could take time. Yeah, Chesapeake, like that's, but people are acting like this is not normal. It's totally normal, these moves. It's normal. Wait, this happens all the time with stocks like this. I hear people talking about like it's 1999 because Chesapeake reverse split and went from 20 to 80. It reverse split. Look, all you got to do is scroll back on a chart. Look at this. This thing's a menagerie. Look how many times this thing bounced. Right? after getting demolished. Here, what's this move? Well, again, this is reverse split. So this is like 600 to 1100. So it's like from 6 to 11. That's a big move. Look how little the move now looks. Look at it. I don't know what people are so up in arms about of these things. Even the airlines. What's even harder to comprehend for me is that these things can get crushed like they did without bouncing significantly. Like look at these airlines. This is AAL. You know, what's abnormal here? And then really gets hit, and then significant squeeze. There's nothing abnormal about it. Because Robinhood is playing, always the riffraff play around with these things. And then they catch them once and for all. It's good. It's like people going to the casino. They sit down on the blackjack table. They win the first hand. They win a couple hands after that. Now they're cooking. They take the water out of their pocket. They put it on the table. And they go home with empty pockets. Same shit. You know, so this is, I don't know what people are going nuts about with this. You know what I think it is? It's because options has really caught fire, like it's blowing up. You know, option people are, I think the degenerates out there are starting to really realize that there's another form of gambling out there in the stock market. You know, it wasn't enough action buying equity. So, you know, they went to like Bitcoin when it came out. Now they're, you know, Robinhood, you can trade options. You know, they're like, holy shit, you know, we can roll the dice all day long, every day. Right. There's no sports. There's no ball games. There's no casinos. I got to stick a needle somewhere in my arm. So that's a lot of all the spec volume in the option market that they're talking about. Just options has grown significantly. I tell you guys, not to sound like a dinosaur, when I got in the game, there was no retail money playing options. They weren't even allowed to. They weren't even allowed to. What names are at that bio conference tomorrow? Any hot names? Fold is there? Ah. So Fold caught another bull bet today. John is saying they're at a conference tomorrow. Oh, Johnny from Twitter? Ah, what's up, buddy? So yeah, so Fold, SRNE also caught action yesterday. Was up today, reversed, huh? I didn't see that. INO caught some action today. Maybe they're catching it pre-conference. That's what's going on. Where did I see? I saw a note at a Goldman that INO was one of the largest increases in shorts. So if there's any sort of good news, you got some gasoline on that fire. But yeah, nothing new out of biotech really. You know, I saw like SRPT, that beast, still doing its thing, right? Look how many good-looking stocks there are, though, right? Isn't it amazing? INCY, that's another beast. Oh, breathing, look at that. GBT, BHVN, my Lord. My Lord. We saw them give birth to BHVN. Joan, no? Right in front of our eyes, they gave birth to that. Did you, Steve? BHVN? Nice. Ed, you still have it? You still got a piece of it? Rolled up, nice. Yeah, GBT, I remember this too from a couple years back. Stevie Cohen, I think, was buying it when we saw sweeper activity. Caught missiles, absolute missiles. Haven't really seen any sweeper activity, blocks here and there in GBT. But yeah, even biotechs have cooled down a bit, the flow. You know, there was a lot of heat there. Look at that, breather. SDGR. Somebody else brought this name up. Do they trade options? I don't think they trade options yet. Do they? Oh, they do? I haven't seen any action there yet, George. Not that I remember. Later, tree. I haven't seen action in that yet. Also, that TDOC has been really quiet action-wise. That's a breather. Caught a couple of sweeps when it was hot. So you got some stuff breathing. The semis. Anybody holding any semis? I sold the TXN. Micron. That looks interesting. Micron looks good. Caught some action again today, Micron. AMD, we spoke about. LRCX. That's the beast right there. I love LRCX. NXPI caught a missile. You believe this TXN move? Anybody still holding on to TXN still off the missile? Yeah. Yeah, it was an exacta. They came in with TXN and XPI, probably the same group, same fund, or whoever was buying them. Usually the semis, they'll, well, now you know, we throw all of them, all these chip stocks into the same basket. They don't all move the same anymore, you know? Like AMD went dead. Like if you look at like LRCX and Micron, you know, they look different than, let's say, like an NVIDIA or a Marvel. This is a beast, MRVL. You know, so, but usually they catch action together. You see, like TXN caught the missile, then NXPI caught the missile. You know, usually they come after it in the pack. ON, I think, is a semi, yeah. ON is a semi. ON is a semi. Another one I was hoping they hit, Zitch brought it up today. I used to have a position in this thing, LSCC. This is like a hidden gem, but this thing's starting to get hot now. Yeah, ON I heard was a 5G play. Another beast is Quervo 5G play, QRVO. This is the best group. I know software has been hot and you got some good looking stocks, but semis are the best. I love semis. You catch a rally in the semis, you catch it at the right spot, there's nothing better. Nothing better. You still got 2000 LSCC. See, that's what I should have done. What I did, I had short dated calls and I had equity and I wanted to buy leaps and I never bought the leaps. And I just kind of lost track and now it's at new highs and then some. I got a buddy of mine that's got a real nice position in this thing for himself and clients. He's owned it forever, calling it the next NVIDIA. How about that? You know, but yeah, good looking name, especially on dips. Xilinx, right? Xilinx just hasn't been itself. Wouldn't surprise me it's back at new highs at some point, though, when they get their shit straight. They usually go through these phases. But you got a lot of good looking stocks in this group. Yeah, it would be one of the first places I would look if we do get some sort of wash over the short term. Yeah, see, like Qualcomm, like all these names, right? You can't see them doing this, right? Little breather, and then that'll set up the move. That would be too good to be true. You know, here you got to chase them through Niners and all. Where if you get a dip like that, that's kind of what we're hoping for here. Yeah, you're right. You hit one hard, but they all move. They move in packs. Semis are great. Semis are great. You know, these semiconductors they're great names. Oh, this one too. This one nobody talks about. Catches flow. MCHP. Neo today, you mean? Why? What happened? Secondary or some shit? What happened? Was it $6? Offering, right? Yep. Well, that's you can't, you can't chase this. Where is it? Back at 6. Big deal. They're smart to do it here. They might as well. Yeah, you know what's funny? I don't know if you're saying that joking around, but they'll probably, they'll price it and then they'll probably buy the daylights out of it after that. This Neo. Fold is at a conference, I'm hearing, Rick. Goldman conference. Maybe they're getting ready for that. ATVI was a nice trade. I day traded it, and it had a nice follow through today. Still could be in this. That doesn't mean it's out of this breather. But that's what that's what I would look for. She comes back down here and catches action again. You could play it for that snapback. Make money while it's still consolidating. Yeah, take two. I didn't see any action in take two yet. But take two could get some big action when she wants it. Yeah. See, some of these things already have been breathing. I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, it's an unusual spot here where I'm kind of torn. Weakness would be the easy solution. But this game never makes it easy, Yeah, Roku, exactly what went on today is what I would look for. I would look for action into red. Do not chase Roku. As you know, many people have been burnt chasing Roku. Today's action is momentum playing, trading. I don't even know if they're going to be in it by tomorrow. They're not betting on a big move. They're betting, on momentum. Will it ever catch some action of the Roku of the old used to catch? We'll see. But you got a nice breather here. Yep, Fed tomorrow, as always, should be interesting. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But listen, for now anyway, for intraday purposes, anytime we see red out there, we got to keep a close eye on sweeper activity, okay? If, like hypothetically, right, we had weakness today, right? If there was no call sweeper activity, if there was no buying into that weakness, then the flow is telling us potentially there's more downside. But if they come in the way they did today and they start buying things, there was hardly any put action this morning. They bought Cloudera, they bought AMD, they were buying Apple. It's not, they can't take the market down while that's going on. So keep a close eye on the sweeper activity for short-term momentum purposes, especially if you're playing intraday. But if you see weakness, that's where the snapback moves can be juicy. So look for buying into that. W, is that still breathing? That's been a hot one. Yeah, Jesus Christ. What about shop? Still up there. But at least these things they're catching their breath. At least they're catching their breath. Yeah, Tesla now is a chase, But again, weakness, you see sweeper activity, you have a trade there. That's how I would look at it. All right, boys and girls, always a pleasure. Thanks for stopping by. And like I said, anybody who's new, just stroll by wallstreetjesus.com if you're looking for more information. All right, be smart out there. Be safe. I'll see you guys soon.